You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the November 14th meeting for the Long Beach Building Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is the regularly scheduled Long Beach Building Commission meeting for November 14th, 2025. We'll call the meeting to order at 1:02. First order of business is roll call. Honor. Pete.
Yeah.
Neil.
Yes.
Bob LeMay. Ellen Lynch.
Yes.
Anita.
Present.
Joy.
Here.
Carter is not here, and I am here. First order of business would be the approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Honor sent them out a couple of weeks ago.
I have a couple of
Everybody-
questions. Number 27, permit number 279, should be noted that Neil recused himself.
Neil.
Um, and I just had a question. Huh?
She-
Oh, sorry, permit number 279, number 27 on the minutes. Neil, it should be noted that Neil French recused himself. And my only other question was on the last page. It said you were going to get a list of plants to and determine how tall they could get for 1528 Lakeshore Drive. Did we do that?
What does it say again? Unfortunately, I don't have that copy in front of me, so I'm going to have to rely on you.
Okay.
Here, I have a copy.
Thanks, Anita.
You're welcome.
That way I can read it beforehand.
And it's a reminder that we should all speak into the mic. I know our attorney. We should all speak into the mic. I know our attorney would be happy if we all do that.
Just to confirm, the only people I can really hear are Larry, Joy, and Anita.
That's all you need to hear.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. We'll make sure everybody turns their microphone on.
That way Becky won't be mad at us.
Okay. Yes, Joy. The question was, did we get a list? I don't have it yet, but I asked them for it. I did it by email. So we have a record of it.
Okay.
I talked to her about it, Roxanne, and she's going to send me a list of the plans.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you. Neil, would you hand those back? Thanks, Anita.
You're welcome.
With those changes, I would move to approve the minutes.
I would second.
Motion by Joy, approved by Anita, or seconded by Anita. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Next up is the Commissioner's Report. For the month of October, we had 39 permits with construction costs of $1,613,820, which generated fees of $11,583.69. I don't know how the 69 cents got in there, but if it was my math, I could understand it, but that came right off the program. That's it for the Commissioner's Report, unless anybody has any questions. In old business, MS4, we're still working on our year end. We should hopefully have that done by the middle of December. We have until April, even though they call it a year end, but we just like to get it done. The coastal resiliency groups through Joe Excel at the DNR wanted to know if we would be interested in participating in the Army Corps of Engineers Coastal Resiliency Study. And part of that would be Joe will gather information from
Yours?
us.
Do you have a spare one? That's
Oops, sorry.
Oh, there's one on the hall.
Part of that will be Joe will take information from us
I'll give.
and as well as current and past LiDAR readings on our stops. And the interest is in the stops that have had damage, or public access, I should say, rather than stops, that have had damage over the course of the last probably 2 generations, and have had to been repaired by the town. So I told him that we would be interested, and he's actually out here today taking some measurements. He wanted to know if that was okay, and I said, yeah, I don't think you need to have approval to go down there, so. The Purdue Capstone project, we've received in the last 2 weeks, 2 preliminary design models. They expect to have those finished for us with cost estimates in the next couple of weeks. For them, they have to have it done by the time their semester's over. Next is line item number 12, 2207 Chastleton. That meeting has not taken place yet. I just have to schedule it. Number 13,
What kind of meeting do you have?
it's a meeting to go over with the owners what is causing the problems, why they were cited. They have so there was work that was done there that was permitted, and we issued a stop work order on some work that was done that was not part of that permit, that put them over the 35% coverage rule. We issued citations, and those citations are outstanding, and they wanted to meet to go over those, and I said I would. Chris had some conversation with their attorney, and it was determined that everybody thinks it would be easily or more easily and more economically resolved if I just meet with the owners, or Carter and I should say, meet with the owners.
Larry, is that the house that has all the new landscaping?
Yes, at the corner of Oakenwald and Chastleton. Next up is the Stop 31 signs. That's on hold because there's currently litigation involved with the town. So there's nothing we can do about that.
How long have we got a court date scheduled? What?
I don't know about that. Chris may be able to answer that, or he may not even want to talk about it. I don't know. Chris?
Well, first of all, I can't hear Dr. LeMay whatsoever.
The question was whether or not Pete had a question as to whether or not we have any court dates on the Stop 31 litigation.
No, the ball's in their court. They filed it. It stands there, and I don't have any public updates other than that. Sorry, Dr. LeMay, I thought that shows you I really didn't hear who was speaking before.
Okay, thanks.
So I still don't understand why, no matter how this is resolved, they still have to follow the town rules. No matter ownership, access, all that stuff. And the town rules say that you can't do any construction unless there's a primary residence. Signs are illegal. I don't know what, and we have nothing scheduled. This is just going nowhere. Anybody want to address that?
It seems to me, and Chris, you can speak to this, but if there's litigation ongoing, I don't know that we can discuss this right now, but it's up to Chris, our attorney, to counsel us.
Well, I mean, I first of all, it's a little bit of a gray area because some of it is in the building commission purview and the rest is under the direction of the council. So I really don't know what the question. I guess ultimately, I'm not aware of any outstanding citations. If there are illegal things that, just as we sit here and summarize, but I don't intend to talk about the litigation, and that's my general practice. And
Not regarding the litigation, but they have signs that are illegal, they're up, and you're telling the ball's in their court.
Well, have we verified? And quite honestly, I have no idea what isn't approved. I mean, we've had this discussion over several months, So going back to the history of those, of what hasn't been approved, what was included in the zoning, can you guys put authority to any of those? Or they're just signs that you say are illegal? Because I do not know. So if you want to give me direction and you want to give me or point me in the direction to do the research, I absolutely will. I work for you. I can't guess. And because somebody says they're illegal, that doesn't mean that it's so, because I don't know. That property has been problematic over the years. There have been things that were approved before the BZA, before the town council. So you tell me, I work for you. So, and then I'll respond in writing to the things I think I can based on the litigation and the things that I cannot.
I'll do the research.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Thanks, Chris. Next up is 14, the 10-day letter for the timbers has gone out and we expect a response. I'll have something back before the next meeting as to hopefully they'll just remove them.
Now, are these timbers a safety issue?
Yes, they are. They're timbers that are at the edge of the pavement. I sent an email off to the owner and he called me and said, well, you know, they were there when he bought the property. And I said, that may be so, but they're dangerous. They're not only dangerous for pedestrian traffic, they're dangerous for vehicle traffic as well as, and especially plows, snow plows. They're being right at the edge of the pavement. The plows have, if you hit something solid on the ground with a plow, if you've ever driven a plow, you'll know it. So we want to have them removed before. We already had one snow, but that was the goal.
So they've received the 10-day letter?
Yes. Well, I don't know if they received it, but they haven't responded to it. Let's put it that way.
Okay, help me with the 10-day letter. And a 10-day letter says you're supposed to get something done within 10 days, right?
Right. The option is for the town to go and remove them. And that has not been done.
Okay, well, I think we should remove them and charge them for it. I mean, this is something that was brought up more than 2 months ago, as I recall. Any response?
Did they,
Well, I don't have a response. I would have to get with Chris
did they respond to the 10-day letter? Was there a phone call? Nothing?
No, they're still within their frame. So between now and next meeting, we will either have a response from them or we will have them ignore, and then the town will have the authority. So we're not to a point where they have they're outside of our standing order. But before next meeting, they will be. So I guess the decision is whether you want to authorize now that if they don't, in between now and next meeting, to go ahead and eradicate the issue.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So the motion is to wait till the next meeting?
Well, they have to have it resolved by the next meeting.
Yeah, Dr. LeMay, what I was saying is that beforehand, so that you don't have to wait to the next meeting.
Yeah, I think, why don't we check and see what that 10-day letter said? And if the 10-day letter clearly stated they needed to have it resolved in 10 days, and they've had that letter for 10 days, then I would authorize Larry to authorize the street department to remove them. Because it's a safety issue. I don't think we should be waiting on a safety issue. If we can resolve, we've determined that we've done everything we should, and they haven't, then I think our hand is tied.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that location, and those timbers were pre-existing, right? They've put new ones in, but that risk was always there beforehand.
Right, it was. It's more pronounced now because of there's just more traffic there.
Yeah.
And it creates a problem for especially people walking to the beach because they can't get off. If you're pushing a stroller and two little kids and somebody comes flying up the street, you don't have the opportunity to get off the road. And it's right on the curve. It's just a bad situation for
Is it on town property?
We have to talk into our microphones, please.
I'm sitting next to you.
I shouldn't
Is-
say no.
Is it on town property?
It's in the right of way, yes.
So then we don't even really have to ask them. We can just take them out of there. It's town property, right?
That may be so. I don't know.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be we follow the advice of our council.
Yeah, given that we just have had this standing order, we're putting them on notice. I think it's prudent here. I don't disagree that in general, we have a right to remove things and the town be able to use the rights of way. However, given that this one has a little bit of a history in terms of some things existing or not, given that we already have the wheels in motion, I don't think giving that proper notice I feel like it's most appropriate in this instance.
Okay.
So what are we doing?
So we had a motion. What was the motion?
I suggested that we wait as per our council's suggestion until the next meeting, and he will follow up and have something for us at the next meeting.
Well, I want to clarify that in case I wasn't clear. I think that Pete and I were on the same page that the 10-day letter is already indicated what your intentions are, which says if you don't cure these violations, then the town may, and then we have authority. So the issue is if you do not want to wait till next month, you can simply vote that Larry, be able to take corrective action before next month. So that's your counsel, unless I misunderstood. I'm okay either way. I'm confident that we're on solid ground, that we've done what we're supposed to do. If they respond to us or we have further dialogue, that doesn't mean that Larry has to drive there with a payloader tomorrow. But if they ignore us, the town has the option.
I think we have other areas that this has been pre-existing. I realize that maybe it's a little bit more dangerous, but I think we have other areas that have stones and rocks and all kinds of things on the right of way. I'm not sure. I don't know that the way to do is to go in there with a plow and plow them out. I would like to follow up on the 10-day letter.
Yeah, I would second that.
Okay, so what are we doing? What's the status? When do we put the hammer down and say something's going to be done? In 10 days, by the next meeting? This has been going on for a long time.
Let's put it as, I think Joy or Anita mentioned, if by the next meeting, we will have resolution, either that will report that the town is going to have to take them out or that the homeowner has on his own taken them out.
I think
And those are the only two options.
Right.
If that's all right with everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And just as an addition, if we have other safety areas that are similar to this, let's get them resolved.
There are several. Usually what happens is somebody makes a complaint to us about something encroaching or being a danger to
agree.
pedestrians. Then we go down and look at them. Some of them, I just go and knock on the people's door and say, hey, you got to move these rocks, and it's worked. In this case, the response to the email was positive at first, but it got to the point where nothing was done. So, I'm not going to go pull them out, but, we could direct Tom to. So I guess to answer your question, Pete, they're addressed. I haven't, and I don't know that Carter has. I don't drive around and look for things that are encroaching because there are so many of them. Lakeshore Drive, in the meeting last week, there are a tremendous number of encroachments on Lakeshore Drive. Some of them have been here for probably 150 years. Others are, and I think a question was asked at one point during that meeting, how does this happen? Well, it happens by Uncle Jimmy coming in on a weekend and putting in landscaping or putting curbs in or putting retaining walls in. So most at least in my tenure here, we have not allowed anything to be put in the right of way. Period. There has been nobody's putting boulders, nobody's putting walls. So we're on top of it currently, but it's the things that have been put up in the past. And when I look through Beacon on this particular property, it goes back to 2007, and those timbers were there in 2007. So, this owner is, I don't know if he's a second owner or a third owner, but it's just become a problem.
Well, and I fully appreciate how things have progressed in the town over 100 years. The issue is, to me, who's responsible for some accident that occurs in the right of way that was a safety hazard that perhaps should have been resolved? Just because it was there for a long time, it's the town's response. My interpretation is it's the town's responsibility to resolve any safety issues on things that we have a responsibility for. So I think we need to understand that. And if it takes some legal research to find out who's really responsible in case.
Can you talk into the microphone, Pete?
Okay, then we need to find out what our responsibility is for safety issues. They're typically not the homeowners because it's on town right away. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer, but we need to know that. And this is one situation that we've identified that there's potential issue. We've now identified that there are several more on Lakeshore Drive. Whose responsibility is that if something happens? I mean, there are fences, there are all sorts of obstructions all over the town. And it only takes one accident and then we're in deep stuff.
This might be an issue for Chief Swistek, who is our town administrator, who's familiar with our insurance. So that might be something that you could take up with him and with our attorney. I'm not sure, but if we don't have, any accidents and we're not in deep, then I think that we need to look what our insurance coverage is. We need to see what's on the right of way. And as we saw and as we're seeing with the road improvement work, the workshop, that there are things that are there. And, if you go around the town, but if you want to have that this is a building commission meeting. And so in terms of liability, I'm not sure that we can answer anything. So that might be a meeting with Chief Swistek and a review of our insurance and a homeowner's response.
Okay, then I'll address my comments to the members of the town council that are on this board. This should be taken to the town council and resolved. If they're the ones that are responsible for it and you don't want the building commission to do it, then I say the town council should address it. And in my opinion, it should not be a decision of the insurance companies. They're not responsible for the liability. They're only responsible for the payment. Our attorneys are the ones who can judge and evaluate what is the town's legal responsibility if we were to go to court.
I didn't say
Not the insurance company.
I didn't say the insurance company. I said the insurance policy is what might be reviewed with Chief Swistek. He's our town administrator. I don't want to debate it. I'm just giving some ideas, and I'm not sure the town council is prepared to deal with it, but I'll leave it to Joy.
Okay,
For the purposes of the minute taker, I would respectfully suggest we have a motion, second, and a vote.
Joy, go ahead.
There are so many encroachments in this town. I can't imagine taking on that responsibility of removing that. Everyone's yard is in the town right away. Their driveways, their yards, it's all in the town right away. Are we going to go around and make everybody remove everything that's in the town right away? It's impossible.
Only when it's determined to be a safety issue. This has been determined to be a safety issue, I believe.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay.
But for the town council to start going around the town, for example, on Story Avenue is lined with rocks right on the pavement, the whole length of it, and has been for 30 years that I know of. So, I mean, that stuff is everywhere. I don't know how we would possibly handle that. I'll certainly put it on the agenda for discussion, but I'm with Bob. If it's a safety issue, I think it has to be removed, but who's going to determine that it's a safety issue?
Residents, the courts will, that's for sure, and have in the past. Residents are allowed to utilize, I'm not going to say use or anything like that, but utilize the town right away if the town's not using it, except in the only cases that I've seen, court cases, are when a safety issue is involved. And then it's not acceptable to have unsafe issues in the right of way. And my question is, who is responsible for something that exists in the right of way that we know is there? So I make a motion that this issue be addressed to the town council. And one way or another, we find out what the deal is. I'm not expecting people to move, a plant or something out, but for example, a bush on a corner that blocks vision. It's in the right of way. Whose responsibility is it?
The tree board or the town has already taken on that issue with the tree board.
Good. I appreciate that, but there are other.
And chief, I'm on the tree board. The chief has done a lot of the intersections, and you're right, it is a danger. And as far as liability on town property, I have a couple lawyers in my family, and I don't think we do too well if there was a bad accident. It's just my opinion. So, but I think it's something we should talk. We shouldn't have anything that would hurt anybody. And especially if it's a little kid in a stroller and somebody hits them because the person couldn't move over. So it's just something to talk about.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to move this to the town council. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to skip the fence ordinance guidelines and get through the permits first, if that's all right with everybody. First up is permit number 172. I'm going to put this up on the screen. I don't know why it's not up here. There we go. This permit is, I would say, twofold. Part of the permit is they're converting a garage into living space, and that certainly meets all of our requirements. With the issue that we've had over the past 3 months and numerous, probably close to 10 notes to contractor and owner, is that the shed had to be laid out on a site plan, and we received this, I don't know, about 2 or 3 days ago. So the issue here is that the shed is this property, this is Florimond Ave. This is Grassmere on the west or the right side of the screen. So the address is the Florimond Ave, but regardless, this property has 30-foot setbacks on both Grassmere and on Florimond because it's a corner lot. So the shed, what they're asking to do is to put the shed in the front yard, which is not allowed, which would require a variance. The second issue with the shed is that even if it was allowed to be put in this area, it is into the setback. It's entirely in the setback. So what I would suggest is that we ask them to modify their permit to remove the shed. And if they want the shed, they can go try to get a variance. But the other work, if they would submit that, we can approve that without coming back here. So if anybody wants to make a motion to that or discuss it, that would be fine.
So do we deny this permit and they,
I think we have to because it's all encompassed in one, and then I will suggest to them that they split it.
okay, I would make a motion to deny the permit.
Motion by Joy, is there a second?
I would second.
Anita, any discussion?
And I would amend it to say that if they can submit to Larry a site plan without the shed, that Larry should be allowed to approve it.
Is that Bill? Oh,
Can you stand up at the microphone,
Yeah.
please?
turn the microphone on, Chuck.
Chuck Donnelly, Lakeland Group. I'm the contractor on this. I was just asking the same thing he was asking. If we take that off there, resubmit, then we don't have to come back
Right.
through.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what the proposal is.
Is there a suggestion on where they can put a shed on that property?
Well, unfortunately, it's a pretty small lot comparatively to the neighbors. Sheds are by ordinance allowed in the rear yard.
Mm-hmm.
That would put the shed somewhere back in this area, but the problem is you're in setbacks no matter
Right.
what you do.
Right.
So I think the only option for you is to go to the BZA. You know, I mean, I can ask Bob, who sits on the BZA, if, you know, what he thinks, but I doubt that they're going to allow you to put a shed in your front yard.
It doesn't matter which way the house faces. The house doesn't face that way.
No, what happens when you're on a corner lot? So the address is Flormont Ave.
Right.
So that means that, and actually, not only does it mean by the address, it also means by ordinance, it's on a corner lot, it's the narrow side. So the front yard, the front of the house is Flormont Ave, and that's got a 30-foot setback. Because you're on a corner lot, the Grassmere side, which is to the left of the screen or west, is a 30-foot setback as well. So the house is already encroaching into the setback on Grassmere. And there's really, I think in the back here, you've got 19 feet on one side, you probably got 22 on the other. It's going to be pretty tough to do that. We wouldn't, at our level, at the building commission level, we would not be able to approve that. That would require a variance.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
so the motion is to deny the permit. Any other discussion?
I think we need to vote on the amendment first, then on the, am I right, Chris? Vote on the amendment, then the motion?
Yep.
So I think we need to vote on the amendment first.
I'll second the amendment.
I think that we've run into this problem before where we give someone time to amend and then who follows up that it's amended and then they have the right to a permit and we're not sure when we get the amendment or if they're going to the BZA or where they're going to place the shed. And then we come to next month and he says he has a permit, but where's the shed? So I would say that we probably need to say, where's the shed going to go? And just deny the permit until we see where the shed will go or.
Yeah, if I might suggest that we just deny the permit. And then if you come back to make an application for the garage, the interior work, that can be approved outside of this group. So that makes it nice and clean. This permit's denied. You come back with everything that you've got without the shed on it. And I think that we're going to be in decent shape.
Okay.
I say we go, let's make clear what we're doing here. The only issue on this is the placement of the shed, yes?
The shed, right.
Okay, so if we amend the permit and agree that they can take this shed off, then they can go on with all their work and come back later with something for where the shed is going to be or not be, or go to the BZA. But to ask them to delay and fool around.
Well, I'm not
We're
interested
not
in
asking
asking
them
him to
to.
delay. The problem is, and to Anita's point, sometimes, or it's happened in the past, we will say, we're going to approve this, but you have to do this. And then those people, no matter who they are, go and do the other work without amending their permit. So if you guys want to do that, then that's okay with me. I would suggest that you add to it that no other work can take place until we get a proper site plan and documents that don't have anything to do with the shed on it. So there's no mix up.
But this doesn't have to, if there's no shed on it, it doesn't have to come to the commission, right?
Right.
Larry can approve, and that's what the amendment was, to allow them to do the rest of the
It-
work. As long as Larry says, yeah, everything they want to do is kosher.
Got it.
Any other discussion? So we're voting on, what do we do, Bob? Amendment first?
To vote on the amendment first, which is to allow you to make the decision on a new site plan without the shed.
Any discussion on that?
Wouldn't we allow you to do that anyway?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Isn't that all moot?
Well, initially, we were going to deny the permit, which meant they had to come back next month, right?
No,
No, they can
Larry
come
doesn't
back and
have,
I can approve it without,
Fine, okay.
this type of permit doesn't have to come without the shed, doesn't have to come before the building commission. So are we still at the Joy's motion to
to
deny?
deny.
Seconded by Anita. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, so Chuck, you're gonna have to resubmit without the shed on there. All right. Next up is line item 17, permit number 267. That was a roof solar project at 1805 Lakeshore Drive. At the last meeting, we requested that they provide the dimensions so that Bob, I think you had a question on how high off the roof the panels were, and they're 18 inches, which they submitted, as well as the glare. There is no glare. So off the panels to the streets or the neighbor's home, because it's a flat roof, there's no opportunity for glare to hit anybody. So they've met with our requirements.
Now, question on this. We had a problem on Lothair Way with a house that had a panel on the roof or was being constructed or something, and it caught fire and the fire department couldn't fight it. Is that not a situation here?
No, that's always the situation with solar panels. In particular, on the Lothair house, they had received a permit to put solar panels on their garage, and they didn't. They put them on the house, and then the house caught on fire.
Right.
And the fire department didn't know that there were solar panels on the roof because they weren't permitted, number one, and there was no notice. So the rules for solar panels allow for a fire department margin around a roof. And those rules are, I can't recall, I can bring the permit up because it's designed to those rules. What's the permit number?
The
I'll bring it
drawings
up.
detail 36-inch fire pathway.
So, I mean, if from a building commission standpoint, what did you say, Neil? They had 36?
Drawings detail 36-inch fire pathway.
From a building commission standpoint, they meet code. From a fire department standpoint, I'm telling you, because I've been on the volunteer fire department over 40 years, I don't want to go up and hit myself limited to 36 inches wide on a margin, but that's what the rule says. So they do meet the rules.
But, okay. The fire department, I don't know how to handle this. If I think the fire department, or if you think this is a dangerous issue from the fire department's perspective, then that has to be raised. Regardless of the rules, it's a safety issue. Now, I don't know how that's handled, but like you said, and we've already experienced one where the fire department didn't know about it. Do we need to notify or have some tags or something on a property like that?
Right. So there is something called a rapid shutdown disconnect switch.
There is.
That's clearly detailed on the side of the building, and that would be, labeled as such. So that's where your fire department would go to shut it down.
I mean, I leave it up to the fire department to decide how to handle this. I don't know. But it's clear that the fire department has the ability to inspect stuff. And we've rarely used it, and I am not a fire department. So I'm not a lawyer. I'm not in the fire department.
I think 2 or 3 years ago, we as the building commission looked into, and we actually had one of our members researching and proposing for an updated, or I should say, Long Beach specific solar ordinance. I don't know if you guys remember at the
Yes.
time, after probably 3 or 4 months, that individual came back and said, you know, we don't really need to do this because the way the state is paying or the allowances that they give for power that goes back to the grid were so bad that people weren't going to do it. So we didn't do anything specific to the town of Long Beach for the ordinance. So I might have to ask Chris to chime in on this, but so then what we're left with is we have to make sure that as the building commission, that the project conforms to state and federal law. And this project does conform to state and federal law. And I put up on the screen it's one drawing, but it's two. This 17-inch or 17 degree, I'm sorry, angle that these come off the flat roof. This is less than 18 inches. So we're in good shape there. From the fire department margin, they've got a 36-inch pathway, which is all hashed here. Maybe I should have said that the problem isn't, number one, as Neil said, so the panels can be shut off from the ground. There's a switch on the outside, and they've got that. That's according to the code. So the pathway is what's important to me as a fireman. I've got 36 inches of area where I can walk, where I can go. This happens to be a flat roof, so it's a little bit different situation. But on a pitched roof, if you can imagine an 812 pitch and you've got solar panels on it and you've got 36 inches and it's 2:00 in the morning and there's smoke all over, we don't want to walk up on that roof because those solar panels won't support our weight. Not that you're going to fall through the roof, but it's going to cause problems for you. So I guess to answer your question, Pete, the town of Long Beach doesn't have an ordinance that is any more specific detailed than the state and federal ordinance or federal code. From a fire department standpoint, we asked, and I say we, the building commission asked our fire department to weigh in on this on numerous occasions, and we didn't get anything formal. I brought this up at the last 2 meetings ago at the fire department and suggested that we think about it. So it meets code. This project does.
I would move to approve.
Joy, is there a second?
I would second that.
Neil?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Sale of contiguous lots, let's move that off. Last thing in old business is 1616 Lakeshore Drive. So we've been round and round, I shouldn't say we. I have talked to, Paul Karen is here as the contractor. I have met with or discussed this with Paul, the architect, John Spalding, as well as the owners. The walls in the existing house, when they started demolition, were not of sufficient structural integrity to be able to be used for the renovation. So in the simplest form, I would say to the building commission that we should allow this to continue as we approve the permit.
What are we saying? We're going to approve it?
We already approved the permit. We approved the permit based on a renovation of the existing home.
Right.
And there were 2 items that we addressed during the meeting when we approved it. One was on the east side, there was an overhang off the pitched roof that was going to extend into the setback, which, as we know, is not allowed. So you can't increase volume. So
Yes.
the owners came up with a solution where they would put open rafters there, therefore not creating volume. And the building commission said, okay, that we agree with that. There was another section on the east side of the house that was Paul, I may ask you to step up here. I think it was the second floor extended into the setback.
I'm not sure.
Yes. Yes.
You got to say who you are.
Hi, I'm Paul Karen Custom Homes.
So there was a section on the east side, or pardon me, the west side that extended into the setback, but it was existing.
Yes.
So when that was presented and we went over the drawings, that was approved.
Correct.
But what happened was the walls that were underneath that section that was there were not of sufficient structural integrity to be able to support that. So they were removed. So when I found that the demolition was done, I talked to Paul and I said, that's different than what we brought up here. And since then, I've talked with Paul, I've talked with the owner, and I've talked with the architect. And I'm satisfied that they just didn't go in and wholesale do something that we didn't approve. And I had sent an email out to everybody and asked everybody to go by, and I think most everybody did. So what I'm suggesting is that we lift that stop work order and allow that work to continue.
Now, the house was removed to the foundation, which makes it a new house, yes?
What I saw,
The
there
walls-
was one level of masonry wall.
More than 50% of the
One
house
level,
was
yeah.
taken away, yes?
Yes.
Okay, that's a new house. So a new house needs to conform to new house rules.
Well,
Permission to speak?
hold on. We had approved removing sections of the house
Okay.
to facilitate the construction of what was presented rather than, just wholesale demolition of the entire house. So I can't tell you which exact wall was removed or which wall wasn't removed and what was left. So my concern was that that we didn't have that. We didn't have wholesale demolition of the entire house, and it's really not a rebuild. But the issue was on the west wall. The east wall, I think that's well taken care of. We all understood what was happening. But on the west wall, the structural integrity of that wall was not sufficient to be able to support what they were planning on doing. So they didn't plan on doing that. So I would have, my recommendation is to lift the stop work order again, based on what I've seen and what we discussed and what we granted the permit on.
So is this going to be built up on the existing foundation with no change to the foundation?
Right. That's correct.
Larry, have you got? a plan we can
My
put on
understanding was that things with the building commission were black and white. And this sounds pretty gray to me. So to me, I think Board of Zoning Appeals would be reasonable. Because we're getting pretty gray here.
I agree with Bob.
I also agree. And I think I just don't like that nobody even got in contact with you, Larry, as the building commissioner. Just like one day it was just gone. So if walls were bad, I don't understand why somebody, the architect, the owner, the builder wouldn't have said, Commissioner Wall, we have a problem here. It's just gone one day. And all of a sudden we have a slab and a little wall. So I also have a problem with it.
Could I answer that?
Sure.
We had Spalding Architects draft the plans and we went through a series of reviews over the last year. In that last submittal, what we implemented as a contractor was exactly what was in the plan. What's currently there right now was what was approved by this board in your last plan review. I don't know, I briefly asked who does the plan review, but anyone that did a plan review, if they read the plans clearly, saw what I've seen and implemented on that plan. And so that as a contractor, that's where I wouldn't make a call to say, Larry, I'm doing this beyond what a plan is, because it's there. And it's been reviewed, it's been approved, and I'm running with what's been approved. And I do always try to work well with townships building inspectors, commissioners, whoever it may be, when I've got solid documentation that's approved, I have no need to make a call.
So you're saying we approved that it would be demolished?
Exactly as it is.
It was approved.
we-
Something's out of whack here. Was it approved to take it down to the Bear Foundation?
Yes,
Who approved that?
board.
That was not my assumption when I saw those original plans.
That's, well, that's the issue. The issue is we had a meeting, Paul, the owner, the architect, and one of the architect staff had a meeting at my office, my real job office. And we discussed what was happening. And so when Spalding and Paul first came, there were 2 or 3 renditions of the plans. Those 3 renditions or 2 were to completely tear the house down and start over. And they couldn't meet, or those plans didn't meet with there were some issues with some items out in front, which were beyond the 106 line. Then there were some issues with height, I think, and there may have been some encroachment issues on the side. I'm not really sure. I don't recall. So during that last meeting, John Spalding, when he called for the meeting, said, hey, we decided we're not going to tear the house down and build a new house. We're going to renovate. We're going to do a major renovation of the existing house. And that's what was discussed at my office. The 2 items in that renovation that were problems were what I had mentioned earlier to you guys. And as you remember, I walked up, I showed you what the pitch was, where this was going to be not creating volume in a setback. That was on the east side. That was a section over the old garage. On the west side, there was a section that was encroaching into the setback, which was part of the existing house. So they were renovating that space so that that space could stay. That's what we said as the board, that space could stay. So we, as Joy just mentioned, that's what was presented here. That's what I presented here. And that's what the owners were here. Paul was here, as was the architect. So that's what we approved. So what's happened since then? Now, Paul is saying, well, it was part of the drawings to take the whole house down anyway. And if that was missed by me, then okay, I missed it. But what was presented here to this board and was presented to me at my office was that this was going to be a major renovation of the existing house. And that's what we approved. So what's been now purported to me is those walls wouldn't support what was going to be done above it.
Correct.
So that they had to come down. Now, you know, you guys know I'm in the building business. I understand that part of it. Is there an issue, as Bob said, or Pete said, well, they took down 50% of it. The whole house was coming down. Or Bob, you said it's a gray area. Yes, indeed, it is actually a gray area, but we issued the permit based on what was presented to us. And that house is still going to be built. The walls were all torn down is what ends up happening. And, you know, Bob is right, you know, or Pete or whatever, if the whole thing comes down. So, you know, I don't know what you guys want to do.
Well, Larry, this is Chris. I mean, there's been a representation by the gentleman speaking that you approved what they did. That doesn't seem to be the case. They did what they thought they had to do after they got into the project, after it was originally approved. Am I misunderstanding there? I know it's a nuance, but you didn't approve.
No, that's true. So
They made a representation that you guys approved based on that, so there was no need to make a call because you guys approved for it to be taken down, which essentially, as the commission's approach has been, it's a blank canvas, right? Once you get rid of nonconformances, you're required to conform unless you have a variance. That's the general premise. I'm not saying that's applicable 100% here. I just want to make sure that we're having the right conversation for consistency purposes, because as you know, this has become an issue. And as we also know, when you have pre-meetings, it is always very clear that you're not the final decision maker, right? And we know that. I know you know that, right? The building commission makes decisions on those. So
Right.
anybody who takes away any understanding or assumption that you're approving something unilaterally just isn't so.
Oh, and I explained that to Paul and to
Yeah.
the owner and to the architect, that, yeah, this decision is not mine to make. The decision is the board's to make. So you're right, Chris.
I
I just
know
want to
I
make
did
sure
not-
there's not representations, because I know better, that you're not approving that, and that those are serious issues. And if a game time decision was made to take everything down, now we get into the age old problem that I'm sure Pete would point out is, oh geez, I didn't know. And I'm not saying in this instance there was any thoughts of, it was an end run to do what they intended to do anyway, or it's something that happened in the moment once you got into it, because you don't know until you get into it, right? So.
Could I speak?
The ultimate responsibility for the interpretation of the building ordinances is the builder contractor. There's already, even here in Michigan City, there's a very good example on Lakeshore Drive of where something was approved, turned out to be against the ordinances, and it was, I guess you call it, revoked. My concern is that this is basically qualifies as a new house. If you take more than 50% of the property value and destroy it, whether it's 1 wall, 6 walls, 9 walls, 50% of the property value, it becomes a new house. We've had this issue before. I don't see any different here now. Now, regarding who approved what, all that sort of stuff, I don't want to get into that, but this is a new house. It should conform, in my opinion, should conform to new house rules.
The plans that were given to the board to approve. Those plans showed a worst case scenario demolition as it sets currently today. They are documented. Those are submitted for the approval. There's nothing outside of that plan submittal that was asked to be approved. Nothing. Anything word of mouth does not matter, because what's on that plan is what I have to abide by, and I understand that.
It was
So as I
labeled a
do-
renovation.
Pardon me?
It was labeled a renovation. It wasn't a renovation.
The plan submitted is exactly what we were asked to.
It was
have.
labeled a renovation. That's what.
I would have to look at the document, but
I think your permit said renovation. That's
Okay.
why we approved it with the,
I'll look it up.
what's the term?
Looking at the
permit, it
says new home.
It says new home.
Yeah.
That's,
I think.
so not to be argumentative, but if the plans submit,
If it's labeled a new home, then it's a new home.
Well, look at it, right? Doesn't it say new home to you?
Well, and frankly, even if it was labeled a new home and we all assumed it was a renovation, we're allowed to make mistakes. We can go back and fix mistakes. That was a mistake. So it almost is immaterial whether it was labeled renovation, although I believe it was.
if I make a mistake, I'm held accountable.
We're not. We're a building commission. Rules are
hold
different.
on, hold on.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're not going too far, but the ultimate issue is you can certainly rescind the building permit.
So what was presented to us, you're saying what was presented to us was a rehab and a renovation. But you're saying in all of those was a plan that was calling for a worst case scenario.
It was documented exactly as done.
But
yes.
even though we were presented with what you talked about was a renovation, a major renovation. So what you do is you give us all kinds of documents, but when you appear before us and when it's presented to us, it's presented as a major renovation. But then you can go down to document 24Z and say, but wait, all the way at the bottom,
That's not
it
what I
was
did.
worst case scenario.
I didn't come before the board and speak about it, discuss it. What I did was submit a plan as requested by the township
Many
to the
plans.
commission.
more than one plan,
Oh, yes.
that it was the fourth plan
Oh,
or
absolutely.
something.
And the first couple were new builds entirely. And the only reason we went away from a new build with a brand new foundation was we had, I believe, hardscape inside of the setbacks, which wasn't allowable. As we pulled that back in, the client said, just let me renovate the house. Now, the biggest concern I would have today is that based on the approval of the plan, his home's gone.
Based on the
Well,
approval of the plan, we approved a renovation. We didn't approve a demolition.
If the plan was approved, then the demolition is done.
All right,
Approved.
you know, we can argue this all day long. Here, I'm going to show everybody what we talked about. So it's on screen. So we don't need to go back and forth about this. So these are the plans that were submitted, the last plan when we, hold on, let me zoom this out. I don't know where I can find the date on them. So unfortunately, I don't have the. What's the address on this thing? 1616 Lakeshore Drive. Here you go. I'm sorry, I had this up earlier. So this is what was presented. This is the site plan. These two red areas, it says proposed remodel and addition. So this red area this is on the right side where my cursor is. Sorry, Alan, I should have had you change that. On the red side there, that is the area that would have been creating volume in a setback. So you can see these, that's 8 foot, 8.19 feet. And there's 3.81 feet of that garage roof area that was going to be in the setback. And it was going to be open rafters so that it would not create volume. The other section is here on the east side of the property, which is this red hash section is in the setback. And we said that we would allow that because it was existing construction. And this is what we used to make our determination, as well as I think there is a elevation here. So this is the area that we talked about that day. This is on the garage side. These are open rafters. I'll see if we've got and this is that same section. So this garage is existing. And we said, well, you can't create volume in a setback. So we said, okay, you can do open rafters here. And that would not create volume. This is that same section here. This is the open rafter area. I don't know where do we have one that has, wait, left elevation. This is the section of the house on the west side. I'm assuming this is, well, no, that's not the west side. That's the open rafters again here. That's over the garage. We don't have one of the other side. We don't have a detail of this side. So this is on the east side, this is the garage open rafters. On the west side, this is the area that encroaches into the setback. And we said that that was an existing situation. It was an existing building, which it's clearly stated it's an existing building here. And that's why we granted, or that we said that they could continue, it could be done. This is proposed deck here. This is a proposed remodel and addition. So our decisions were based exactly, I mean, I've almost walked through the whole thing, except I was standing up there pointing everything out. So what Paul is maintaining is that on these drawings, he's saying that this, according to what Paul says, is saying is this area was to be demolished completely. So here's a demolition plan of the roof. That's encircled the whole thing. I don't know what floor this is. Second floor. Let me back out of here. Second floor is demolished. Here's the first floor. The west wall stays up, the windows are demolished, the north wall gets partially demolished. This southeast wall or southwest wall stays, the courtyard stays. The existing patio gets demolished. The front of this garage section gets demolished. So what Paul's saying is that these drawings were given to us and that there were parts that were to be demolished, even though it was a renovation. So that's what the issue is right here. So I mean, you guys.
Larry, this is Chris. I have a question for you.
Shoot.
What is the nonconformity in your, just simplicity wise? I can't really see what you're pulling up. Is it the encroachments?
Yes.
And so those encroachments still exist with what's there after the complete tear down, yes? Because the foundation is there?
The encroachment at the garage side doesn't exist, but we knew that. The encroachment on the west side of the house does not exist anymore.
Not even, so the foundation, everything is removed?
Hold on. Is that foundation over that?
That's a second story encroachment, not at a main level or a foundation. So that would be true that is removed.
So the wall on the first floor in the lower level, the foundation is still there, but the walls that were to be left on the first floor are gone. So
And those were the encroachment, not the foundation.
that's right.
And the reason I'm asking that is because they existed and they weren't technically removed. So I'm looking through the code as we go here, just to try to follow along. All right, thanks.
So the plan to rebuild the house, will any of it encroach on anything?
Yes, and I'll go back to the site plan and show
You
you.
don't have to. Just-
Okay,
The answer is yes.
yes. On the west side, on the east side, a roof section will encroach, but on the east side, or I'm sorry, on the west side, a living space will encroach. That's what's in red here. On the west side, on the east side, it's the garage roof over the garage was existing and was going to stay. So the encroachment that's at the garage wasn't an issue because it was staying. Is the garage still there?
The garage is not. The section of the garage wall on the demo plan that was left to remain was just as rotten as the section that needed to be removed behind the brick.
I think it was clearly our mistake because we can see that they have demolition plans. I don't know what we do with that.
Well, and that's what when I first started the conversation was it was purported to be a renovation. And that's the angle that I took when they met with me. And that's the angle of what I presented to everybody here. And the demolition plan shows some of those walls staying, and they did not stay. They were taken down. The walls that on the demolition plan that say that they were going to remain in this existing building didn't remain. They were taken out. So then that's the issue. The issue is if those walls would have been left up, this wall on the east side on the demolition plan, it's called for that wall to stay, but it didn't stay. It was taken down, and it was taken down and explained to me the reason it was taken down was because it was not of structural significance enough to withstand or support the weight up above. So the garage, it was the same way. The garage was going to stay and this was going to be over the garage. Well, now the garage is gone. So now the garage will encroach 3 feet into the setback as well as this section on the other side. So, that it's up to us what you guys.
Well, hearing that, then I think it really is a new house. And if
So
they want to keep those encroachments, I think they should go to the BZA.
Well, let me give you the legal 2 cents, and it's probably not one that the builder wants to have, but I think that if a building permit is void because it shouldn't have been issued, then it's void if it's improper. So either way, if you allow it, if you decided they need to get a variance, right, they go to the BZA. If you decide to revoke that permit subject to a variance for those things, and they don't agree with that revocation, their remedy is to go to the BZA to ask to overturn your decision. Or you make the decision to allow it to move forward as previously approved. But in my opinion, it was improperly granted.
This is a new house. A new house needs to conform to the new house ordinances.
Is this garage, is this wall still there? Did you guys leave this up?
No.
There's a decorative wall on the front, right?
Pardon me?
There's a decorative brick wall at the front.
There's brick down the sidewall, and half of that sidewall was to be removed. And when we started to tear into it, the wall was rotted out. The brickwork didn't have any flashing on it. It basically rotted the internal wall out.
So I guess I'll just ask, we'll just go around the horn and just ask everybody to chime in here. Obviously, this is not a great situation for anybody involved. Does everybody understand what we're talking about? We're talking about the east side, west side. And I do want, Paul, I understand what you're presenting here, but also this was presented as a major renovation. That was discussed from the day one in my office through the entire meeting. And I don't think that's just in dispute. I mean, we could watch the meeting and that's the way it was presented. So, and even on the drawings, a proposed remodel and addition. So what's happened is the entire house has been demolished, and we didn't think the entire house was going to be demolished. That's the opinion. I think I'm not going to speak for everybody. I'm going to ask them to speak, but that's what I think you're going to hear here. So what's the remedy? How do we get out of this? And that's what Chris has suggested or has talked about. I would say, and I won't say anything until we talk to everybody. So Joy, do you want to chime in?
I think it's a new house and it either has to conform to our current ordinances or go to the BZA.
Anita?
I agree with that statement.
Mhm.
Alan?
I agree. Yeah, I do
Oh, okay.
agree that it's a new house.
Yeah,
Neil?
I have a different view.
You have to speak into the microphone.
Yeah, I have a different view. I mean, it's clear that they kept the existing foundation and the existing first block of the perimeter wall. They would have kept the wall above it if it had been sound. It wasn't sound, that got taken down. But they've kept the original footprint of the foundation and the foundation wall. I'd be sympathetic to the permit application. That's my opinion, but I wasn't here for the first round of approval. I missed that.
No, then you can't talk.
And you can-
I'm just kidding.
But, you know, it's a situation now. And
Bob,
The new house.
Pete?
It's a new house.
Okay, so, all right, I'll chime in. And as you guys know, I'm in the building business. I suppose it probably really doesn't make much difference whether I'm in the building business or not. I understand what happened. I understand that, that the wall didn't have the wherewithal to support what's above it, and Paul took it down. That wall, according to the drawings, was going to stay, as well as part of the garage was going to stay, and it didn't stay. So that's where we're at. I mean, I think it's pretty simple. We understood it was going to be a renovation. The drawings show the two of the, especially the ones that are in question here, were going to stay, and they didn't. My opinion would be that we should lift the stop work order. But that's, I'm just like you guys. I'm just throwing my 2 cents in. So, we can't push it off. We need to make some decision here as to what we want to do.
I make a motion to deny the permit.
I'll second.
Before you go further, I think it would be to revoke the permit, wouldn't it, Larry? I mean, you've issued this permit, no?
I'll make that motion. Revoke the.
Well, you have a standing motion already, so just gonna have to decide what's the right.
Okay.
Excuse me, Larry, excuse me.
I'll restate the motion.
Hello, hello.
Someone's trying to talk on Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Larry, it's John Spalding.
Yeah, hold on, Bob. Or John.
No, I don't know why it says Bob. It's John. Yeah, it's not Bob. It's John.
Okay, go ahead, John.
If I could just 2 cents here. No one knows on a remodel what you're going to get into until you start digging into the structure itself. So at the end of the day, this house is going to look exactly like what you permitted. It's going to fall within the confines that we put in place on the encroachments on the east and the west. So at the end of the day, the house is going to be exactly what was permitted in the plan when it went in front of the board. So the only thing that we're able to keep is a couple of the foundation walls because of, unfortunately, the decay that happened to that home. So this homeowner is willing to put back what he had to take down, spending extra money to take down stuff that we were hoping to keep that we can't. And so we're going to build it right back up to the building envelope and the building volume that was permitted. So because we had to go that route, that's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it's going to look exactly like what you guys permitted when you went through the print.
Well, you used, this is Chris, I'm counsel for the commissioner, and you use the exact proper word. It is unfortunate, but I think when we get down to and everybody understands what was proposed, what actually happened, a permit that is improperly granted is void and subject to challenge from others who, and this board unfortunately doesn't have the leeway. I respect and I understand what you're saying in terms of commonsensical approach, right, is, hey, let's, the shortest distance between two lines is, or right, 2 points is the straight line or something like that. But the building commission doesn't have that wiggle room. And the BZA is the proper format and our board to consider what you want. Now, I don't speak for the BZA. I represent the BZA. I'm not a decision maker. You probably have some great support for why those things should get approved. And at the end of the day, it's going to be the same house. But particularly the non-conforming statute is the bottom line. And you guys have said today, even on your plans, you intended to keep some things and you took them down. And once you remove non-conformances, the law under the code is that you have to follow the code or get variances. And in my private practice, I know there's been comments of, well, we kept the foundation. Larry educated us several years ago that, that has been, especially in Sheridan Beach and Michigan City, that's not really applicable to this, right? Where things have been tucked in there and done over the years, but that 50% or keeping the foundation is not the threshold determination. And that's why I was asking those questions, because I was hopeful that if there was a way to work around this convenience and still keep the ball moving forward, is that if the encroachments were the foundation, well, then I think the problem is solved because those encroachments remained, right? So Larry, the commission, I think that your hands are tied in this matter and that the BZA is the proper form so that.
Chris, if I can interject, you had mentioned that the foundation walls are still in place and are encroaching. Had those walls not had any degradation to them and they were still standing, then would all of this be a moot point?
Yes.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak.
Well, I'm hearing yes from the board.
What I'm saying is if there were non-conformances that existed and they remained, but you were rebuilding or whatever those, then you would be fine. You removed the non-conformances for the most part, the ones that are up for discussion today. And correct me if I'm wrong, Larry.
If the board had been presented with the facts as they exist today, the original permit would have been denied. And that's the sum total of it.
Well, I
Yes,
guess
that's true. If we would have understood that everything was going to be demolished, it would have been exactly what it sounds like the board wants to do today. It has to go to the BZ. It has to go to the BZA. So one point that John Bob made was that and I don't know whether it's valid or not, and I think that's what Chris is cautioning me against maybe saying. The house is going to be the same as we approved with those encroachments. The only difference is the two encroachments that were in there have been removed. And does that change? Pete, I think that's your point, that changes the way it would have been looked at the first go around.
Yeah, but we weren't able to keep those walls. So I guess.
But you made a unilateral decision not to keep those walls. That's the problem. And again, I understand the why, right? I mean, safety issue, not viable, but you removed those. You weren't told to remove those. You got approved to have them and have the continued non-conformances. You in the heat of battle going through, and once you get into, and I understand it. So please don't take it as me attacking that, but you made that unilateral decision. And as the other gentleman who was speaking, taking the tact of, I don't have to make a call. Well, perhaps that is detrimental to the decision here, right? Is maybe should have made the call.
And as a contractor, before starting this project, I asked the question, if I take down a wall that needs to go, am I going to have an issue? And the answer was no. Right. And that's what we're talking about, a wall.
Okay, so I think has everybody had a chance? Anybody have anything else to say? So what are we going to do here?
Yeah, I remove my original motion.
I'll make a motion to revoke the permit.
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion to revoke the permit by Bob, seconded by Pete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Okay. Paul, I think the best thing to do is probably, not today, but maybe Monday, give me a call and we can see if we can. I can get the information you're going to have to take to the BZA and you can get in there real quick and see if we can get it resolved there.
Well, there's a few options though, right, to be clear, and Pete pointed out properly, it is their obligation to understand, but one is submitting an application that conforms, right? So there aren't any variances needed. They can challenge the building commission's decision if they disagree with this decision of revocation, or they can ask for some variances.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Okay, let's move to the Kellys are sitting here. That is line item 21, permit number 298, 2320 Lakeshore Drive. That's enclosed an existing mudroom and patio and make it into or convert it into a porch. That meets all of our requirements. There's no additional footprint. There's no height difference or change.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Pete, or no, motion by Pete, seconded by Bob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, you guys are all set. Oh, you have to stay.
You guys feel shortchanged since we didn't talk about you much?
Okay, next up is line item 22, 319 Grand Mere. That is a guest house on the peninsula to the east of what's the name of it? Captain's Walk. I'll bring that up. There's
I'm seeing on there 53.6% lot coverage.
Yeah, that was my
no, I
question.
don't think
Oh,
so.
did I read that wrong?
Because they separate out the house and everything else in the yard into two different coverages, but when you add them up, they're 50%.
So did they combine lots to make it less or?
No, there's three. I'll bring up the site plan. There's three lots that they're using to, I think this coverage is on here as well. Does everybody see that? .5% lot coverage.
So they combine.
If you look up
somewhere
in
I-
the-
it was
yeah.
53.3 or something.
Just for the bottom part.
Did I look at it wrong?
So the lot's 48,310.
Oh, I see.
There's three lots combined. So the lot's 48,310. The total coverage we're proposing is 14,260. That ends up with 29.5% lot coverage.
Yeah, I see now. My mistake.
Yeah, it's up on the screen. It's up the top right of the site plan. So there's a couple of things, and Jeremy, I know Jeremy's here. I forgot or don't know your name. Okay. So there's some representation here. There's a couple of things that come up that are of concern here. One, I think we can do administratively, or I shouldn't say administratively. This will require its own stormwater pollution prevention plan. But that, if that's done, it's just like we said before, you guys could do that. I mean, they could do that and come back to us. I don't know that that's a big issue unless you guys think it's a big issue.
If we could speak to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So by definition, land disturbance, we're less than an acre.
Yeah, we're disturbing less than
Well.
property, which
So.
kicks it out of
Yeah,
the SWIP requirements.
Here's what happens with, when you take a lot that's smaller, and I'll read it because I looked it up. I wanted to make sure.
Yep.
For a single family, this is part of our ordinance. It is ordinance 156062 2B. For single family residential project site where the lots are less than 1/2 acre in size, the total lot must be considered or must be calculated as being disturbed. So that puts us over the 1 acre. I mean, if you don't want to do your SWIP, you're going to have to go to the BZA and go through that. It's probably going to be easier for you just to do the SWIP on that property.
Can you repeat that?
Sure. 156.062 2B.
156.062.
156.062 .A.2.B. Okay. All right. And I don't know that I shouldn't say I don't know. If there's an argument there, you'd probably have to make that with Chris, with the town attorney.
Okay.
That's just what it says. If you guys don't think it does, then that argument has to be made there, okay? I don't think that that's insurmountable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it was just clarification.
Yeah,
Reading on our own online, what the requirements are. We want to comply. We're
No, I
less
understand.
than an acre. They want to leave it, excuse me, everything as natural as possible. I mean, they love the nature look. That's what they're going. So
Sure,
we're just
yeah.
minimal impact.
I understand.
with the building. Excuse me.
All right, so we've got that taken care of. So then you're calling this a guest house, and there's a couple of problems, I think, not only with the guest house, but also with the basketball court. So that would be considered an accessory building. So an accessory building, you could make that argument, but
If you go up to the title page,
yeah,
go to the very first page, the definitions from the zoning ordinance are on there.
What?
Very top page.
The very
hold on, I
first
got to get
page.
that one out. Unfortunately, the drawings were sent to us one by one. So do you know what drawing it is, what it's called?
It's T0 or A0.0.
They've got to do.
I mean, I could read the.
I've got a
definition.
plan review.
Same issue.
I've got a land disturbance application. I've got an authorization letter, a compliance report, and then a permit set.
Permit
In that
set.
permit set.
It's in the permit set?
Yes, it's-
All right.
Yeah, first page.
Are we just looking that it says residence?
What's that?
On the first page, are we just looking for that it says residence?
Well, it's this part right here, the very first definition. The definition of accessory building.
Okay, thanks.
subordinate.
So that means it's detached is the second word and there's no detached portion of this. It's
Well, actually, I think I have a copy of the ordinance that I sent to everybody. Let's see.
Looking for this.
I think I have it here. Okay, so 154, you guys want to write this down?
I got a copy of it.
You got 154, okay, 154-052A. A detached or attached accessory structure shall not be located in the front yard, interior side yard, defined blah, blah, blah. And then it goes through with the setbacks and the height. So to us, we would consider this as an accessory structure, that it's
not
an attached. Pardon me?
It's not detached.
Right. Read 152.052A,
Oh, you said 154.
or I'm sorry, 154.052A, and I'm going to read it. A detached or attached accessory structure. So we're considering the basketball court an accessory structure. So that presents a couple of problems for you guys. Number one, you don't have enough land. Accessory structures are permitted to be 1%. You guys got 48,000, that'd be a 480 square foot. That won't work.
So it's actually not in the front yard though.
Right.
Correct. It's just saying.
Well, I guess we have to decide whether we want to, and I'll ask Chris, whether we want to make this argument and discuss it, or do we consider this an accessory structure? So if we consider it an accessory structure, then there are certain things that apply. If it's not considered an accessory structure, then there's other things that apply. So.
Yeah, I think that's it, Larry, in terms of the circular arguments and the going back, which again, certainly appreciate their position, but that is the long and the short. You guys make a decision and that puts you in a position to approve or deny. And if it doesn't go the way of the applicant, then the BZA is an option.
I mean, we could actually label the court as a great room if that.
As a what?
A great room.
I guess.
Great.
A great.
GREAT.
It's just a terminology
Yeah.
thing in terms of saying that it's an accessory structure. It's part of the building as a whole.
Right.
It's an accessory use within the building, but that's no different than saying your bathroom
Right.
is an
Well,
accessory.
let's here. We can say a lot of things. We went through this for about an hour with the last thing. We can say a lot of things. This, as a board, we just have to make decisions. So I would ask if this is either an accessory structure or it's not. And that's why we sent out, everybody had copies of the information. So it's really I can go make a motion.
Let me qualify that. 150.
Sorry. I'm assuming this is our definition, 154.020, which lists an accessory building as detached.
Correct. That's what I was
What?
getting at.
154.020 definitions, accessory building is a subordinate detached.
And restrict.
Okay, let me read 154.051. Permitted, title is permitted accessory uses and structures, not accessory structures, but and structures. So this covers both structure and accessory uses. Permitted accessory uses and structures. The following uses and structures are permitted in a residential district, provided they conform to all the setback requirements unless otherwise permitted by the Board of Zoning Appeals. A private garage, carport not to exceed 3-car capacity, a shed or storage building for garden equipment and household items incidental to a permitted use, provided that the floor area of such shed should not exceed 1% the size of the zoning lot, such as 12. A private swimming pool, a bathhouse fenced, protected against hazards to the public fences or walls which totally enclose the swimming pool not less than 5 feet. Those are the permitted structures. It does not allow for a basketball court. It does not allow for other things. It says structure. This basketball court is a structure all by itself, standing alone. It's not an accessory, it's anything, it's a structure. And that's what 154.051. This is not a permitted use. You can go to 052A or whatever that is and talk about other things, but this is the one that limits and defines what a permitted structure in a residential district is.
Well, I think we should change our definition of an accessory building.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Joy, for another one to add to Anita's list as, you know, you go through that process. I know this is tangential here because it does lead to some confusion and or necessity on the BZA level to interpret. However, that notwithstanding, whether, and I think it even calls it an accessory building instead of a structure, right, in the definition. But, I mean, Pete's point is the point.
Mhm.
I mean, this clearly does not meet the definition of a permitted structure.
If I may, I'm just trying to see the clarification. Everything for it to be a house,
What?
every part of it to qualify as a home, it's not connected in any way to the neighboring property.
It's a standalone lot.
All the utilities, everything, it's its own.
Is it titled a guest house?
Is it titled the guest house?
Is that what you call it? Guest house, that's on the permit.
Well, that's what it states. We can put whatever you want, but it's a totally different address. It's not.
It's clear that this is not being used for a single family. This is
How is it
this is a
clear
guest
that
house.
It's not being used as a single
I
family.
think it's an assumption.
Right. I don't know
Okay.
that there's,
All right, so I guess the first thing that we have to decide is, number one, is this an accessory? How are we going to look at it?
by definition.
According to, I'm going to suggest that you guys, if you wait until we're done, it makes it, I think it's easier to present your case rather than back and forth.
Understood.
And if it gets into a legal matter or legal opinions, that's above our pay grade. That goes with Chris and, you know, whoever you guys have.
Understood.
So, you know, not that we don't want to discuss things, but we take advice on the legal ends from people above us. So the question is whether or not the basketball court would be, or the indoor basketball court would be an accessory structure. I think that's the first question. I don't know if should we just go around? Chris, what do you do? I mean, this isn't really something you vote on, is it?
I'm not sure what you're asking, I think you should just get a consensus of what that determination, and then you ultimately make a vote when you're going to
Okay.
pass or not. Yeah.
Joy?
I would say by what Pete read, it's not an I mean, it is an accessory structure, but
Okay.
by our definition, it's not.
Okay. Rita?
That seems to be the issue. Same.
My point would be that it's not a subordinate building. Clearly, it's not. The
You're
size of
saying it's not an accessory structure?
it's not a subordinate building. And to be an accessory building, it needs to be subordinate.
So you're saying it is not an accessory building?
Yes. I'd say.
We skipped over Ellen, by
Yeah.
the way.
Oh, sorry, Ellen.
That's okay. Maybe you can help me understand. So it is on a lot all by itself. It's not combined with any of the other lots.
Correct.
And you're building this under the guise of it being a home,
Correct.
okay? And then you're adding on a basketball court.
Correct. It's a
Right.
home.
Oh, it's in
that
conjunction.
has-
with- yeah.
It's,
Right.
hold on. I'm going to ask you to address the questions here. We want to make sure we're doing this right.
I'm sorry.
Mm.
So what the permit is requesting, or the applicant is requesting, they want to take 3 lots, combine them, build a guest house with a building on the back of it that is an enclosed basketball court. So the question that we have, I looked at it as the basketball court is an accessory structure. So the applicant's making an argument that no, it's not. So what the first thing we have to decide before we can even figure out what we're going to do is, do we think it's an accessory structure or not? Joy has said yes. Anita has said yes. You're next. Neil has said no.
Yeah, just based on the size of it.
I guess I'm confused that it isn't an accessory. It's on its own lot. It's got a home and it has, don't people put pools in and things like that?
Well,
They're
it's
putting
not
a
on
basketball
its own
court in.
lot. 3 lots combined are a residential lot. So we're looking at this and saying, you have 3 lots
Okay.
and those lots are combined.
Well, they're only one lot now, that the lot combination is already.
So
don't
those,
recall.
It's one lot.
that's right. That's what I meant by combined. So those lots, 3 lots are combined into one parcel.
And it's the right amount of coverage.
Their coverage is, that's right.
Guess we had to rewrite what an accessory building is.
Yeah.
Right.
But-
So the question is not whether there's a house there.
Yeah.
The house is there. This is a building that's attached to the house. And it's a 7,000 square foot, 7,400 square foot building. It's 108 feet
The basketball court.
long
Yeah.
and it's 68 feet wide. And it's a building.
Mhm.
And then there's a basketball court inside of it. It's one purpose. It's a basketball court inside of a building. So we're not voting on whether or not we're approving the permit. We're trying to decide if we consider this as an accessory structure or it's not. And if
Larry,
it's an accessory-
clarify, you said that basketball court or the building it's attached.
Yes. Hold on, I'll bring it up. So here's the basketball court on the top of the drawing or north. Here's the connection to the basketball court. There's a breezeway there. I don't know what this building is. And I don't know what this is, a changing room or something, I suppose.
It's a mechanical room.
Mechanical room with a regular hall and storage on the left.
Okay. So what we're talking about now is there's 3 lots, the entire green
Yep.
area.
Mm-hmm.
They're 48,000 square feet. The coverage with the driveway and the house and the basketball court and everything else is under 35%. So what we're talking about is this building, this basketball court, an accessory structure to the house?
And it has a roof on it?
Yes, it's entirely enclosed
And attached.
and attached.
And attached because it's got a breezeway, right?
Yes.
So how is this different than a garage, except it's too big for a garage, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, I guess that's the point. We allow 3-car garage.
Right, but this would hold, unless you have really big cars or trucks, this would hold way more than 3 cars, right?
Yes.
So is the reason that it's a basketball court makes it an accessory building?
No, I guess that's the problem here. There's nothing in our ordinance that says, hey, if you're going to put a basketball court in and enclose it, that's an accessory building.
Well, Larry, here's an extreme example. What if they titled that master bedroom? Would you care?
Right. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Call that a great room, would it make a difference?
Right.
I didn't show lines.
A bowl.
It's,
And I know that's a slippery slope because obviously we don't want to be snarky and go around, but I mean, truly, if you look at the definition, as Joy pointed out, of accessory building, right? A garage is considered an accessory building, an accessory, but if under our definition, it says detached. This is attached. And
Well, there's also part of the ordinance, Chris, that says attached. And we've talked about this numerous times. Our ordinances are, there's often disagreements. So in one section of the ordinance, as you mentioned, that it says that it's attached. On another section of the ordinance, it says that whether it's attached or detached.
yes.
So
So let's go through them though. So definition of accessory building is detached, right? Then if we go to 052A that you were pointing out, that goes to location. Is there an issue as proposed? Are they in the front or interior side yards with that? It really it doesn't matter if, well, it would, because an attached accessory structure is, for instance, a garage, right? Or are you considering that part of the home?
Well, I guess here's the way I looked at it. There's a permit for a house and you're putting a building on it that's used for playing basketball and it's a large building. To me, that's an accessory structure. It's not part of the house. It's not part of doing yard work. It's not part of a driveway. You're not storing cars in it. So I looked at it as an accessory structure. And that's why I've asked everybody to chime in. In order to go forward, we have to decide whether it's an accessory structure or not. If it's not an accessory structure, one set of rules are going to comply, or it has to conform to one set or to certain ordinances. If it is an accessory structure, it has to comply with different ordinances. So the argument can be made that it is or isn't. That's what we have to decide. And that's why I was asking everybody as individuals. So far, Joy has said that she considers it is an accessory. Anita said yes. Neil said no. Ellen, I don't think you chimed in yet.
Say no.
You say no. Pete?
I don't know.
Well, I think based on your definitions that it isn't defined as an accessory structure. It's part of the house. I mean, I don't know where the limits are on this, and maybe at some point the town is going to have to consider moratoriums on the scale of what's going on here, because then what's next on this, right? And they have a lot of property and they're doing things the right way and seeking permissions and input. And so that part I don't mean to, but it's, these are things you haven't had to face before, right? Which Pete warned of long ago and you warned of long ago, Larry, right? This is a unique and continuing and developing piece of property, right? And so Michael Jordan has a house that has a basketball court. That's his house, right? It's not the Berto Center, for instance. So I for my 2 cents, I don't think that your code defines this as an accessory structure.
Well, and if it's not an accessory structure, then what's wrong with what they're proposing?
Say that again.
If it's not an accessory structure and it's part of the house, what's wrong with what they're proposing?
Well, I think, Bob, you probably summed up their argument best. That's what they're saying.
Well, and if it is an accessory structure, what's wrong with what they want to do? It's in the backyard, right?
If it's an accessory structure, it's placed properly,
Yeah.
but
It's not
we allow-
subordinate.
Not what?
It's not subordinate.
In what
It's not
term?
smaller than the original house.
Well, but is there anything in our ordinance that says,
yes, an accessory structure can only be 1% of the size of the prop.
thought that was a shed?
That's for a shed.
But I don't think that's for any accessory
We
structure.
define permitted uses for accessory structures, and this is not defined.
Right,
Right.
but, that doesn't mention pickleball courts either.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, but structures have walls and ceilings and that.
right, and this does.
Mm.
I know, but a pickleball court does not.
Well, could. There's
Then
indoor-
that-
Yeah, they could put it.
Then that
They
would be-
could have had this as a pickleball court instead of a basketball court.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when they wrote these ordinances, pickleball probably didn't exist.
If dare you.
Well, that's true, Bob. And when they wrote the ordinances, they weren't planning on somebody putting an enclosed basketball court on their property.
But it,
So, that's why I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned that we make the right decision. That's the bottom line for me. And if.
And what did you say, Larry? Is that connected? You said a breezeway? What is the actual connector there?
Hold on, let me get to the drawing.
It's difficult for me to see it.
Oh, I do. I do.
open yet? Did you have a roof on it?
I think there's a roof on it.
mhm,
Yeah.
that's just part of the house.
Okay, you know, put a helicopter.
And right there, you can see
Yeah.
This is, they can't.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to conform with the master plan. It says accessory uses or structures. This is a structure. It's too big.
Well, but that's-
For sure. Accessory uses, okay.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Don't you have a floor plan that calls this something?
whether
or-
it's attached or not.
Yeah, you gotta go up. You went too far.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, you can see right there that it's a completely connected structure if you look at the elevation.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so on the south side, or the bottom of the drawing, that's a mechanical room. This is a storage room. This is just it's connecting to here's the house proper. And here is the basketball court is off to the right here. There's a covered patio on the one side and the other side it's open.
I mean, if we're going to use Pete's definition, then I agree that it's an accessory structure, but if we're going to use the other definition, it's not an accessory structure.
I think Pete's goes to as to what's allowed their structures and uses. The issue is that just because it's labeled basketball court, isn't it the house? I mean, isn't this whole thing a house?
Yeah, I think the whole thing does look like a house, but
I mean, it's not a house that I have, right? But it doesn't have to be the traditional. Again, this is unique because it's new to your town, and I'm not advocating for it. But when I'm looking with the code, which is what we're faced with, and what they've proposed, you get to have a basketball court in your house, right?
yeah.
You could have a pool. What if there's a pool inside your house or a lap pool? Not to give anybody any ideas, but.
We've done it.
So these are the elevations. The two ones on the bottom are the side elevations. That's what it's going to look like from each side, whether it's east or west. I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. The middle one's the east elevation.
Yeah, one on
The bottom one is the west elevation. This is the north elevation. So people across the lake are going to be looking at this one on the left. And this elevation is what it will look like on the coming in from the south.
Now, it obviously it satisfies all other conformance requirements, right? Height, setbacks, satisfies that.
Yeah, they meet, they do meet the height requirements. I forgot. I don't remember what the height is.
It's under the
It's only
27 feet.
27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27. 27
You know, if you're going to call it a garage, would you want somebody living next door to you with a 110-foot long by 68-foot garage?
Except it couldn't be, right? Because it'd have to be for 3 cars, right? That's,
I ask you guys to stop talking one more time and that's it. I don't want to spend 3 more hours on this. We have to make a decision. I'm going to give you my opinion. This has nothing to do with what the rules are. I would not want a commercial building sitting next to my house. That's my opinion. This is 108 feet by 68 feet wide by, I think, 18 feet tall. That's a pole barn, basically. You can dress it up. You can do whatever you want. I think it's an accessory structure because it's not part of the house, you know, and by coming in and saying, oh, we're going to change it to say it's a bedroom. You've already come in here and told us it's a basketball court. That's what it is. It's a basketball court. Does this group think that this is a permitted use and it's not an accessory structure? And is it proper to put this type of building in our town? That's all we have to do. We can't decide whether it's proper. That's your own personal opinion, and that's my opinion. That has nothing to do with the code. So the code we have to decide as a group, is it an accessory building or is it not an accessory building? If it's an accessory building, there are parameters. If it's not an accessory, or one set of rules. If it's not an accessory building, then then they conform to other rules. We can talk about it for 2 more hours, but that's our decision, I think, first, is whether or not it's an accessory building.
I suggest that we have not looked at all the ordinances as they apply to this particular, the definitions of structures, residences, that sort of stuff. I would like to make a motion to table this until we've had enough time to evaluate what all the ordinances say. Because right now we're superficially going, cherry picking this and that.
I think that's a good idea, Peter. I would second that. This is a big decision and we need to check.
So that's
very
my
carefully.
motion.
All right, motions by Pete, seconded by Neil, that we table this until everybody can take a look at the ordinances. Maybe we can get some advice from Pete. Maybe you guys can make a push from your end as to why you think it should or shouldn't be considered an accessory structure. Hold on. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess I was hoping for a rebuttal before tabling it, but the definition, which is in the zoning ordinance, which is on the drawings of an accessory building.
Right.
States a subordinate detached roof structure.
Okay, there's other parts of our ordinance that say something different. So
Okay,
I'm going to tell you, we're not going to resolve it here. We're going to, everybody on this board, as well as our town's attorney, is going to have to look at this.
okay.
And maybe I can explain why. We don't want to make a mistake. And Jeremy was here for the house. It was the same thing. We've never seen this before. We never saw a 20,000 plus square foot house before. We wanted the other people that are involved in running the town and the APC to help us make that decision. They made that decision and said, yes, this will be allowed in the town. We just want the opportunity to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's an argument for or against, I don't know that anybody's made that, really.
Okay. Yeah.
One other thing, Larry, for me, just for clarity.
Yeah.
The one sole issue is that room on the plan. There's nothing else that.
We don't know that until we look at it all.
Right. Jeremy, I say that when I looked through it, you got a house.
Mhm.
So,
But we're making no promises regarding this permit as to what was decided or not decided, period.
all right.
So what would you need from us? You said if we wanted to provide something like.
Well, I mean, you've heard what's been discussed here. Really, everybody has to read the ordinances so that we can sit down and say, I understand what you're saying, but you have to consider that there's other parts of the ordinance. I don't know if you didn't see them.
No, I have them printed.
Okay, so, you know, those, I looked at it and said, this is an accessory building based on that number I gave you.
Okay.
And so that's what our decision has to be. I mean, if you want to have somebody write something up and submit it, you certainly can do that. But I think at this point, we're just going to have to move forward and everybody take a look at it.
Okay.
All right, next up. Line item 20, permit number 274, 2723 Lakeshore Drive. Replace the deck where the existing deck was removed. The owner removed it. The deck is over a concrete slab. There is no additional square foot coverage. It's approvable as presented.
Move to approve.
Joy, is there a second?
Second.
Ellen?
Could anybody find that deck
Second.
on the site plan? Because I couldn't.
What's that?
You know what, Bobby, I'll show you. You had to go, actually, you had to go in two different spots.
Okay, as long as you saw it, I just want.
No, I'll take a
if you
look,
saw
so
it,
make
I'm
sure you
good.
guys
You're
can
okay with
see. 274. See this on the, it's kind of dead middle where it says concrete.
Okay.
The deck is there. It doesn't show it separately, but I'll show you on. Where is the photo? You can see where the deck, this is the back of the house. This is where the deck was right here. The
Okay.
site plan shows this concrete. It doesn't show, oh, sorry.
They want to come out the door and go out the deck. Got it.
So the deck is where these two posts are, and it was an existing deck. See where the door is, Bob?
Okay.
They tore the deck off before they went to a contractor and asked them to put it back.
Was there a demolition permit for this?
No, the homeowner did it themselves.
And it's totally conforming the way it is?
Mm.
Is that right?
Yes, I'll show you on the site plan.
Difficult
Is
to
it bigger?
see how big it is relative to the house.
The deck is, see where this dashed line is?
Yeah.
That's about where the deck is, and then it's in this corner of the house. So it's,
Right in the middle.
it's well far away from both side setbacks. In the front setback, it doesn't have, it isn't germane, and then the back is probably about 70 feet.
Good for him, it's conforming, huh?
Pardon me?
It's good for him that it's conforming since he tore it down.
Right. Oh, boy. Motion by Joyce, second by Alan. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Permit number 320, line item 23, 2911 Rosalind Trail. This is all interior work. The contractor is the owner. He's going to do the work themselves. There's no, I mean, everything, it's approvable as presented.
That's what a gut rehab means.
Yes.
Nice name.
Now, when you say the.
You mean, are they taking the outside walls off? No.
So
I'm telling you, well, I'll tell you later.
This person here are they a registered contractor? Or are they going to hire a registered contractor?
No,
Excuse,
it's an owner.
So he knows that if he hires contractors, he's got to get them registered, right?
Yes, that's correct.
The question, Larry, about that last one we dealt with, the big long one. Do we have other permit applications that come in with worst case scenario? I've not seen that before. That seems a little ambiguous, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I forgot where I am. So we entertain a motion to approve.
And we did it.
I'll second.
Motion by Pete, seconded by Joy. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Permit number, line item 24, permit number 326, 1805 Lakeshore Drive. This is the same one with the solar. There's a wood retaining wall. I can bring it up if you want to see it. I think I got too many things open here. 326.
This isn't one that's encroaching on a neighbor or anything, right?
No,
It is in the town easement though. And it sounds like they want to replace all but 9 feet in the easement. Is that,
let's
Check
take a
on that.
look. Their coverage calculation, they're at 34.8,
It's remarkable.
but they're not changing. I mean, they're not adding any coverage.
that's why the solar panels are going on the roof.
The precision on these is just phenomenal. 34.8.
So here.
It's true, right?
Oh, man. This is where the wall is from the beacon site. You can see it across the back here. It's a retaining wall that holds this back hill. I can show you a picture of it. I went by and looked at it so that we made sure that we were, and Carter, I think you went by too, didn't you? Oh, let me move this. So you could see the existing retaining wall. It's just failed.
Yeah.
So they're going to replace it all through here.
And they're going to replace it with,
Concrete, I think.
No, what do they, I forgot what,
Something.
I forgot. I think they're replacing it with a wall that's not there.
okay.
They're replacing it with a boulder wall.
Old.
Do
Okay.
we have to worry about how high this is going to be?
But 9 feet aren't going to be replaced, right? I think they said they were going to all but 9 feet.
They may have said that, Bob.
I think they did.
That's going to be.
Oh, no, that's a 90-degree corner. The section of the wall in the easement that's not on their property, it will not be replaced.
So we're actually decreasing the nonconformity.
That's correct.
I'm in favor. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Joy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Uh, 320, line item 25, permit number 327, 2819 Lakeshore Drive. There's an existing home on 2819. The owner has purchased the house next door. And they have combined all 4 lots into one parcel. The proposal is to demolish the existing home and build an addition attached to their existing home. Wait a minute, I better start that over again. 2 separate homes. Each home has 2 lots. The lots have been combined. They want to tear the home down on the east 2 lots and put an addition on their home, which is at 2819 Lakeshore Drive, and build a pool on 2 lots, or 4 lots, I should say.
Do we have documentation that they combine the lots? Because on Beacon, they're not combined.
I do.
Yeah.
I'll give that to everybody.
And Larry, is that proof that you have, or is that a legal combination, meaning by deed?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
And it all conforms.
You know what? hopefully I have these drawings. I don't want to, they're one by one in here. Let me look on my own stuff and see if I have them.
And we've got the setbacks for multiple lots.
Yes.
Size.
This is where they need the basketball court.
Yeah. And the pickleball.
For somebody to say that, branch,
Oh, hold on, let me, I thought I was sharing this, sorry. Chris, I guess I'd ask you to, this is what we have for there's the one. E, and here is the other. They've been recorded.
Looks good to me. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the old doing it for tax purposes, one bill thing. So that version is what we generally want to have happen.
So we're okay, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Let me bring the drawings up. Jeff, I think you're on here. I'm trying to find the drawings that you sent to me. Or John, is that John?
Yeah, John, Jeff had to run off to another meeting.
Okay. You mean you don't want to sit and listen to all this? All right, John, I'm just looking for the drawings that are.
Sure.
That way I don't have to bring them up individually.
Yeah, I sent, no worries.
Oh, come on.
Larry, as you're looking, what's the record date there?
Let's see if I still have it up.
Well, and ultimately, though, I gotta be honest with you, I'm having a hard time seeing those, but I agree with Joy
The record date is 11/4 of 2025.
okay, so it just might be that they're behind because Beacon takes about 30 days to update.
Okay. What is this thing?
Probably keep the original, right? 2019, getting rid of the other.
You know, I'm going to have to bring them up individually. Unfortunately,
There's a lot of drawings there. I haven't come across a site plan yet.
yeah, it's in there.
Yeah.
And I can ask John as I bring them up, which one's which.
Sure.
I had a set that was just a complete set, but okay, so. John, can you tell me? I tell you what, I'm going to bring these up on the screen and then you can tell me which one is the site plan. And that's probably going to be the easiest thing to do.
Right. I only did two, one with calculations for lot coverage and the other one was site.
Okay, so tell me which one of these is the site.
Give me a minute. It should be up towards the top or towards the bottom. Towards the bottom. Because look, give me a minute. Spec lot coverage is not it. There it is. That's it. Site.
This one?
Yep. No, one above that one.
Oh, Christ.
That's it.
Okay.
Site. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
This is 4 lots.
There's a big accessory building there.
This, so the top of the drawing, the top of the drawing is west. The bottom of the drawing is east. To the right is Lakeshore Drive. Lakeshore Drive is out here. Everything here where you see it that is hashed is the existing house. This section that's hashed dark is the addition to the house. And this is the pool that is behind the house, the addition. So let's look while we have this up here. The side setback on multiple lots is 16 feet. There is 25 foot 5 on the west. On the east, well, it's whatever these 2 lots are, it's 100. Or are they 40 footers? They're probably, that's 80 feet on the east. The rear yard is 20 feet requirement, and it's 21 foot 3 7/8. In the front yard, the front setback, as you know, is 15, and what's proposed is 29 foot 1 5/8 inches.
And Larry, I'm going to can I interject just really quick? I made a correction to the plans. I realized that when I sent this out, I dimensioned those to the setback line. So it's 29 feet 1 5/8 plus.
Oh, plus 15
feet.
Okay, so
Correct.
the addition is 39, 43, 44 feet 1 5/8 for the front.
And I apologize for that. And I can make
Sorry.
revisions to those if you'd like.
Unfortunately, you had to be on here all the time. This isn't really that much of an issue today. All right, then I think the next thing, John, is tell me which one of these are the elevations so I can show them.
Oh, sure. If you go to that list that you had there
Yeah.
before.
Okay, here is this all right? Here, I'll give you the rear elevation.
Yeah, I labeled them rear, front, side.
All right.
Correct.
So this is the elevation to the rear. So this is standing behind it. If you remember the rear setback. So this is standing at the back lot line, looking forward. The part that's clear or that's doesn't have any hash marks or anything, that's the existing house. This
Right.
section right here is the new addition. John, I can't read that elevation. What's the elevation?
Oh, I can't read it either, Larry.
It's well below the existing house.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So
And
I
that,
think if I remember right, when I looked at it, I think it's like 20 feet or something.
and that elevation mark that you're pointed to is actually the house, the existing house. So we're not even near the existing house elevation there.
Right. So it meets our height requirements. And then what you see down here, that's a cut or a section through the pool. You know, this is the bottom of the
Right.
pool. This is the deep end. I could bring up the other elevations if you'd like. Oh,
If you're familiar with the house, we're matching all the existing details of the home.
let me see if I can get another. Do you have, I don't see a section labeled
Yes.
north or front.
There should be a front elevation as well.
Yeah, hold on, maybe I'll read it. Section, side, rear, front. Here you go. Okay, so this is the Lakeshore Drive elevation. This is the existing house on the right where it's not hashed, so to say. If you look down here where these elevation lines are, that is the garage door, or that's a window in the garage or door in the garage here, the existing.
Right.
This is landscaping. This wall is the wall of not only the house addition, I think that's the outside of the retaining wall for the pool, right, John?
Yes, that is correct.
And then this railing is at the north or the north edge of the pool area, correct?
Right.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions or comments?
Given the 16-foot side setbacks on the east and west, we're okay,
I'll bring them up again.
as long as they're okay.
Yeah, I'll bring them up again just to make sure, so you guys can see them. Site, here we go. Okay. Oh, this is the side setback, Bob, on the east side. It is 25'5". Requirement is 16. On the west side, I don't know what this is. It's probably 70 feet. The rear
Yeah,
is 21'3". Required
correct.
is 20 foot. The police are kicking us out of here. And on the north side, the setback on the north of the building is 29, 40.
29 plus 15.
44 feet.
Sorry for that.
That's all right. We're going to make you come back next month.
So, Larry, just a question for me. That existing accessory building, what's the deal
You
with
can
that?
talk into the mic.
The existing accessory structure, does that get grandfathered in? Is that how that works?
That was built with the original house when the house was renovated.
Yeah.
John, when was that? 6, 8 years ago? Or the house?
It was about 8 years.
That was permitted with the original house.
Got it.
Right.
Actually, this is Joe. It was actually done in like 2012. It was an existing garage. It got redone.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Bob, second.
Me.
Pete. Me too. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You're all set.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have to stay, Joe.
Okay.
Permit number 329, 2215 Lakeshore Drive. I'll pull that one up. This is hold on. There's an existing retaining wall, and they are taking that retaining wall and moving it 24 inches. Oh my gosh. $329, $329.
This is a picture.
This citizen member. It sounds like 1984.
Yeah.
Citizen LeMay.
Some are more equal than others.
Citizen LeMay.
Yeah, I guess that's.
This yellow section is where the retaining wall is now. And they want to move it 2 feet to the east. And I'll show you the picture of that. It's basically going to be in the same line as the driveway, which is about 12, or the setback is 6 feet. It's about 10 feet from the side yard. Come on.
Sure if it's this one. It's highlighted in yellow. I think that's it there.
I would move to approve.
Yeah.
Okay, just to make sure. So this is what you saw in yellow, marked in yellow. This is the driveway at the bottom of this arrow. It's more than 10 feet to the side setback. They want to move this wall across here and make the walkway wider. Motion by Joy and second.
I'll second it.
Neil, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any commission comments?
No.
Any comments from the public? No comments from the public. Chris, are you still on? Yeah.
I am. Nothing from me.
Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Me.
Pete,
Second.
Bob, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Thanks.